On the day of the college entrance exam, I secretly swapped out the refill in my pen for a red one. After the test, my best friend Samantha Lewis, who was in the next room over, grabbed my arm and said sweetly, "That's great, Natalie. We'll get into Harvard and Stanford together for sure." But when the results came out, she was stunned. "Natalie, why did you get a 0? In my past life, Samantha took my identity, my score, and my dream university. She got accepted into a prestigious school, joined a top firm, and lived a picture-perfect life full of love and career success.
Me?
I was thrown into a nightmare. Because I failed the entrance exam, my family forced me to marry a mentally disabled man. I was physically abused, emotionally destroyed, and with no money to treat my illness, I was told I only had 3 months to live. Everything fell apart. If Samantha hadn't invited me to her wedding just to show off, I never would have heard her and her mom whispering in the dressing room. Her useless dad, for a lousy $1,000, threw his daughter onto that fool's bed just to trap me in Willow Creek forever. "We can't let her leave, or our scam will be exposed." That's what they said. I snapped. I shattered the mirror, grabbed a shard, and rushed in to confront them, but it sliced my neck by accident. Blood poured out like crazy, but no one called for help, not even 911.
Why?
If your grades weren't good enough for Harvard or Stanford, do you think we'd be friends with someone like you? You reek of poverty. That was the last thing I heard before I blacked out. If I ever got a second chance, I swore I'd never let them steal the life that was meant to be mine. And then I opened my eyes. I was back on the day before the college entrance exam. And this time, I could hear people's thoughts. "Natalie, get up, sweetie. Auntie warmed some milk for you. Make sure you drink it, okay?" I opened my eyes with a pounding headache. This room, it was too familiar. I was at Samantha's house. A glance at the calendar on the table confirmed it. I really was back. 1 month before the exam, Samantha had invited me to her place under the pretense of studying together, and her whole family had acted so welcoming. Her mom even held my hand and begged to adopt me as her goddaughter. Now I realized their kindness was fake. They were setting me up so they could steal my scores. I left the bedroom and sat down at the table just as Mrs. Lewis placed breakfast in front of me. "Natalie, studying takes a lot of brain power. Auntie made you a special breakfast to keep you sharp. After you eat, go upstairs and study with Sam. You silly girl, it's exhausting taking care of you. As soon as the test is over, you can go back to your little shack." She smiled warmly, but my skin crawled. "No thanks, I'm not hungry. Where's Samantha?" For once, my voice wasn't soft or polite. It was cold. "Mrs. Lewis blinked in surprise. "She's probably still sleeping. That child's never been as hardworking as you." She went to Samantha's room and opened the door. Sure enough, Samantha was snoring away. "Ugh, I don't wanna." Samantha snapped awake the second her mom pinched her arm, and when she saw me standing there, she shut up fast. "You don't need to study to get into Harvard or Stanford, huh?" I kept my expression calm, though I was seething inside. "Sam, the test is tomorrow. You should study." She got up reluctantly, her face annoyed even though her words stayed sweet. But I could hear her thoughts. "Ugh, why is this poor girl so annoying? Just wait till I take her spot and get into Harvard or Stanford. Let's see how smug she is then." Watching her stagger out of bed, I smiled to myself. The whole day, I made Samantha study nonstop. I gave her practice tests, drilled her with flashcards, and refused all food breaks. Every time Mrs. Lewis tried to bring us snacks, I blocked her with an excuse. "Sorry, Annie, time's tight, we can't stop now." Samantha didn't dare complain out loud, not with her pride on the line, but after a full day with no food or rest, she collapsed from low blood sugar. I dragged her back to bed, shut the door, and left the room. When Mrs. Lewis saw me coming downstairs, her face lit up and she rushed over with a tray of snacks, but I stopped her. "Auntie, Sam's wiped out from all the studying. She went to bed early. Don't wake her." After a few more tries, she gave up and just watched me scarf down the snacks instead. That night, I couldn't sleep. Memories flooded back me, dad selling me for cash, the beatings, the mockery from villagers, and those icy stares in the bridal dressing room. No way. I wasn't going down like that again. The next morning, Samantha came down with dark circles under her eyes. Mrs. Lewis gasped. I hid my satisfaction and patted her shoulder, all concerned. Don't be nervous. You studied so hard, you'll be fine. Samantha gave me a forced smile and kept her head down while she ate her porridge. Before we left, Mr. Lewis drove us both to the testing site and told her to look after me. She stuck to me like glue. Your room's over there, I said. I know, she replied, but I want to stay with you a little longer. You might be nervous. Please. What she really meant was, if anything happens to you, it might screw up my exam. I clutched my stomach and frowned. Oof. I think I'm getting my period. Samantha panicked. Are you okay? I groaned. Did you bring any pads? She shook her head. Can you go buy some for me? I'll wait here. She hesitated, frowning, clearly torn. But finally, she gritted her teeth and ran off. The second she turned the corner, I sprinted to the nearest stationery store and bought 2 red pen refills. You're taking the exam today, right? Red ink won't be counted, the shop owner warned. I know. Thanks, I said, paid, and ran back to the testing center. Samantha was already waiting at the gate, pacing nervously. Natalie, where did you go? I told you to wait for me. She breathed a sigh of relief when she saw me and handed me the pad she'd bought. I didn't take it. No need. I just borrowed one from someone else. Thanks for the trouble, Samantha. Her face instantly darkened. You dare trick me? You little just wait. Sweat was dripping down her forehead, her breath was shallow, and her face shifted between pale and flushed. She shoved the pad back into her bag, saw the time, and rushed me into the exam hall before turning and walking away. Inside, I flew through the test like I was possessed. Every question was familiar. I finished everything with time to spare, and when I handed in the paper, the proctor glanced at it with pity in his eyes. Your answers aren't bad, it's a shame you used red ink. Those answers won't be scored. After the exam, Mr. Lewis was already waiting to pick us up, and when we got home, the whole Lewis family gathered around the dinner table like they'd just won the lottery. Mrs. Lewis laid out a huge spread, and they were practically glowing with celebration. I heard from Natalie. She did well on the test, Mr. Lewis beamed as he poured himself a drink. Fantastic. That means Yenyen's acceptance to Stanford or Harvard is guaranteed. Natalie sure came in handy this time. Samantha added smugly, I heard one of the candidates today answered the test with a red pen. Poor thing. The results will be invalidated. I tilted my head and smirked. That's a shame. Mrs. Lewis chimed in gleefully. Well, one less competitor for us. Samantha looked like she was on top of the world, stuffing herself with dinner. I smiled. Go ahead and laugh. You won't be laughing for long. For the rest of the exams, I kept using my red pen with absolute calm. On the final day, as I walked out of the exam room, Samantha clung to my arm with fake enthusiasm. This is amazing, Natalie. We'll both get accepted into Stanford or Harvard soon. I glanced at the pillow crease still stamped on her cheek from napping in the exam. Yeah, totally. You slept through most of the test, but sure, go home and dream about Ivy League. When we returned to the Lewis house, their warmth toward me disappeared like smoke. They crowded around Samantha instead, fussing over graduation dresses and summer trips. I packed up my clothes in silence. As I stood at the door, Mrs. Lewis walked me out with a tight smile. You've been gone for over a month. Now that the exams are over, go home and rest. We've had enough bad luck around here. The door shut in my face before I could even respond. I actually laughed. The Lewis family was really something, using me until I was useless, then throwing me away without hesitation. As soon as I stepped inside my house, the smell of alcohol hit me like a slap. You're drinking again? I snapped at Frank Carter. Where do you even get money for that much booze? My mom quietly took my backpack from me. Someone from the Lewis family dropped this off this morning. I don't know what they told your dad. My heart dropped. It was hush money, the down payment to sell me off to that fool. The Lewises couldn't even wait for the scores to come out. But I wasn't scared. In my last life, during Samantha's graduation banquet, Frank publicly accused me of being with that idiot and threw me out, locking me in his house. Not this time. I was planning my next move while waiting for the scores. One morning, before the sun even came up, loud banging woke me. I dragged myself to the door in a daze, opened it, and immediately got a face full of spit. Natalie Carter, what the hell is wrong with you? Why'd you get a 0 on the exam? Mr. Lewis shouted at me, his face twisted with anxiety. Uncle Lewis, I said with a straight face, my dad says girls don't need an education. So I handed in a blank test. What? He barked. How could you? What's Yen Yen supposed to do now? I feigned confusion. By the way, how many points did Samantha get? She said she'd definitely make it into Harvard or Stanford. When does her acceptance letter arrive? Mr. Lewis's mouth opened and closed like a fish. You, he sputtered. Then Samantha ran out, tears streaming, and shoved me. Natalie, I treated you like a best friend. How could you do this to me? I scratched my head innocently. What are you talking about? Are you blaming me for your bad score? I helped you study nonstop before the test. What exactly are you mad at, Mr. Lewis was so furious, he clutched his chest like he was about to keel over. Just wait, Natalie. You'll regret this. As I watched their backs retreat, I finally felt a little peace. But a few days later, the village loudspeaker crackled to life. Everyone, the Lewis family, will be hosting a graduation banquet for their daughter this weekend. My stomach turned. I ran to Aunt May, who lived at the village entrance. Aunt May, which school did Samantha get into? Was it Harvard or Stanford? She beamed. That's right. After all these years, Willow Creek finally has a top student getting into a fancy university. The Lewis family's gonna throw a big party. Folks from all around will be there. My blood ran cold. No. No way. I used red ink. My results should have been invalid. Did they swap me out? On the day of the banquet, I bought a bunch of alcohol and forced Frank to drink with me until he passed out snoring. I locked the door and left for the Lewis house with my mom. When we arrived, they still acted warm and welcoming. Natalie, Mrs. Lewis cooed. I heard you didn't pass. It's okay. With your skills, just retake the test next year. Samantha nodded sweetly. Yeah, even if you didn't get into Harvard or Stanford, there are still other schools. Just ask me if you need help studying. Her words were gentle, but her eyes were gloating. This was the same girl who'd cried and accused me just days ago. Wow, congratulations, I said, smiling. I haven't seen the acceptance letter yet. Mind showing everyone? Someone in the crowd chimed in. Yeah, take it out and show us. Samantha's the first Harvard or Stanford student from our town. Basking in the attention, Samantha proudly pulled out the letter and shoved it in my hands. Here, country girl. Let me show you how it's done. I opened the letter, and before I could even read it, a swarm of villagers crowded around me, gasping in awe. Oh wow, look at this. So fancy, we've never seen anything like this in our lives. That's right, look here. It's got names and even a photo. I ran my fingers gently across Samantha Lewis's name. It didn't look printed, it looked handwritten, almost too fresh. Even the seal in the bottom right corner felt weird to the touch, like it was just stamped on by hand. In my last life, Samantha had shown off to me endlessly. I remembered it, all her voice full of pride as she pointed to the official seal and said, "See that? Only letters with this seal are recognized by the state. You've never seen one before, have you? But this one was fake. This is a forgery," I blurted out without thinking. Everyone froze and stared at me in shock. Samantha's expression twisted instantly, and she reached out to snatch the letter from my hands. What are you saying, Natalie? Are you out of your mind? I didn't back down. Your name was clearly added after. The seal is fake toots, not even pressed right. You forged this. Samantha's eyes darted nervously. Then she suddenly grabbed my hand and gave me this pathetic look. Natalie, are you seriously jealous of me because I got into Stanford and Harvard while you failed? I don't want to lose a good friend over something like this. People started murmuring all around us. Weren't those two always together? Maybe Natalie really is jealous. Yeah, I heard Natalie's grades were good, but that doesn't mean she got in. Exactly. Samantha's the one holding the letter, we can all see it. Natalie's just bitter. The woman from next door even tugged on my sleeve. Natalie, you haven't even seen a real acceptance letter before. How would you know it's fake? And even if you didn't pass this year, you're smart. Just retake the test next year. No need to be petty. I opened my mouth to argue, but someone beat me to it. Actually, there really are a few problems with this letter. Everyone turned toward the voicey. It was Rachel Young from the next town over. She got accepted into both Stanford and Harvard last year and had just come home for summer break.
What Natalie said.
It does seem suspicious, she added, frowning. But then again, maybe the letters changed format this year. I'm not totally sure. Mr. Lewis rushed over, clearly rattled. Nonsense. That letter's real. I just called Mr. Thompson, the man in charge of distributing all the acceptance letters in town. He's coming to the banquet today, and he'll clear this up himself. A few minutes later, Mr. Thompson actually arrived. People crowded around, shoving the letter at him and demanding an answer. I hand out so many of these every year, I honestly don't remember the details, he said, examining it front and back. But it looks legit to me. A wave of sighs and whispers swept through the crowd.
See?
Told you Natalie was just jealous. She probably wanted to tear it up the second she saw it. Poor girl. Rejected and bitter. I stood there, heart racing, biting the inside of my cheek. No way. No way was that letter real. Samantha's grades weren't anywhere near good enough. And then, just as I was about to speak, Mr. Thompson muttered, honestly, even I can't always tell real from fake. They look almost identical. But I doubt the Lewis family would go so far as to forge something like this. It's probably authentic. That was my last straw. I pulled Rachel aside and whispered, Hey, does your acceptance letter include the school's contact info? She squinted and thought. Yeah. And there were instructions for new students, plus a code of conduct thing. Wait here, I'll go grab mine. I slipped her $20, but she immediately pushed it back. Come on, don't be silly. Just wait. I'll get it. As she left, the Lewis family was busy setting up tables and basking in the village's praise. Samantha was glowing with fake humility, surrounded by compliments. I sat nearby, silent, waiting. It wasn't long before Rachel came back with her documents. I flipped through them and found the contact info for the admissions office. Samantha, I said suddenly, cutting through the cheerful buzz, if this letter is real, then your name should be on the official list of admitted students, right? My mom immediately grabbed my hand and hissed, Natalie, stop this. How are we supposed to show our faces in this village if you keep making a scene? Mom, I'm not making a scene. Her letter is fake. I pulled out my phone, holding up the number. This is the admissions office for Stanford and Harvard. I can just call and ask. Samantha looked terrified. Mr. Lewis stood abruptly. If you're struggling, just say so. I've always helped you, haven't I? But this kind of letter, this is earned through hard work. Not even I can get one for you. Still, if you want to retake the test, I know money's tight for your family. I'll cover your tuition. The crowd broke into applause. What a generous man. He's such a good person. Poor Natalie. She must be going through a lot. Surrounded by condescending sympathy, I lower my head and made the call. I tried Stanford.
Busy.
I tried Harvard.
Still busy.
Again and again. Nothing. Then Mrs. Lewis snapped. Natalie Carter, if you came here to celebrate with Yen Yen, you're welcome. But if you came to cause drama, please leave. We've done enough for you. How long are you going to keep this up? Yeah, get out, someone in the crowd shouted. So rude, making a scene like this. Who raised you? My mom stood up, trembling as she bowed and apologized. But someone yanked her away, dragging her outside. I shielded her as we were shoved out. My chest burned. How could no one answer? What if Samantha really did steal my results? Was I going to be forced to relive the same fate again? I turned around and saw that smug little smile on her face. Natalie, no matter how much noise you make, it won't change the facts. There can only be one top student from Stanford and Harvard, she said with a sweet voice laced with poison. I clenched my fists. Then prove it, Samantha. If your letter's real, compete with me head-on. I broke free from the crowd, standing tall at the door. Compete, she scoffed, arms crossed and chin raised. Why should I? You're the one making accusations, not me. Why should I prove anything to you? Samantha Lewis scoffed. I kept my voice calm.
Simple.
If your score's higher than mine, I'll kneel and kowtow right here in front of everyone and admit I was wrong. The crowd of villagers erupted with excitement. Let them compete. Let her admit defeat fair and square. What's Samantha afraid of? With all of us watching, just let Mr. Thompson oversee it. Samantha hesitated, but only for a second. Her pride got the best of her. You're sure about that, Natalie Carter? You'll kneel? I'm sure, I said. Let's do this. Fine then, she smirked. This was your idea. Villagers rushed to set up a table and chairs on the spot while Mr. Thompson went into town to fetch a set of official test papers. Once he returned, we both sat down. You'll have 2 hours, he said. Begin now. A whistle blew, and I focused, tuning out the whispers around me. Is Natalie struggling with the first question? Why's Samantha scribbling like she doesn't care?
Is she
falling asleep? This'll be good no matter who wins. I ignored them, took a breath, and kept my pen moving. When the second whistle blew, we both handed in our tests. Samantha gave me a smug look like she'd already won. It's over, Natalie. You're finished. I didn't flinch. She wasn't even sweating. Mr. Thompson returned after reviewing the papers. All right, everyone, here are the results. Natalie Carter scored 659 points. Gasps spread through the crowd. That's a high score. But how did she not get into Stanford or Harvard? Then came the moment of truth. As for Samantha's score, I suddenly heard her muttering under her breath beside me. You idiot. Don't you get it? Dad already bribed Mr. Thompson. No matter how many points you get, mine will always be 7 higher. Ist der Herr stunt.
she
Actually bribed him? I stepped forward to take a look at the papers, but Mr. Thompson avoided my hand. Samantha smiled smugly. Come on, Natalie. It's time to kneel and apologize. Wait a second, Aunt May spoke up. He hasn't even said what Samantha's score is yet. Why are you asking her to kneel? Doesn't matter, Linda Young chimed in. She obviously lost. Samantha's the one who got into Stanford and Harvard. No need to question that. Mr. Thompson, Aunt May insisted, go ahead and read Samantha's score out loud.
Mr.
Thompson cleared his throat awkwardly. Samantha cut in with a sneer, stepping close to whisper in my ear. Do we even need to read it? I'm already the pride of Willow Creek. I'm just sparing you the embarrassment. Go ahead, kneel, then go home and take care of your drunk dad. It's better than embarrassing yourself any further. I ignored her. Eyes on Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, please announce her score. His face twitched with hesitation. Well, her score is 359. The entire yard went dead silent before a wave of murmurs swept through. Samantha's eyes widened as she snatched the test from him and glared daggers at his face. You took the money and still screwed it up?
I'll ruin you.
Mr. Thompson's expression darkened with guilt. Slowly, he pulled a crumpled wad of cash from his pocket and held it out to Mr. Lewis. 2 found this by your front door. Must have fallen out of your pocket earlier. Mr. Lewis's face turned red, then green, then pale, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and took the cash without a word. 359? Aunt May echoed in disbelief. Isn't she supposed to be our big Ivy League star? Linda Young added sarcastically, looks like Natalie outscored her by a landslide. I stepped forward, bypassing Samantha and speaking to the crowd. That's because her acceptance letter is fake. I've been in class with her for years. I know her grades. With her intelligence, she couldn't get into Stanford or Harvard even if she tried for 5 lifetimes. Furious, Samantha lunged at me, grabbed my hair, and yanked hard. You little why didn't your dad just sell you off like he planned? Why are you even here, causing trouble? Villagers rushed to pull her off. Mr. Lewis whispered something into her ear to calm her down. She straightened up, smoothed her dress, and smiled like nothing happened. Everyone, she said sweetly. I've been tired lately. That's why I didn't perform well today. But that doesn't change the fact that I was admitted into the top universities in the country. That's what matters. Natalie failed her college entrance exam, and she's just jealous. I don't blame her. Then she wrapped her arm around mine like we were besties again. Right, Natalie? Who made us such good friends? I tried to respond, but Mr. Lewis cut in with forced cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Yenyen's college banquet.
The food is ready.
Please have a seat. And we've got plenty of fruit. Everyone gets some to take home. Murmurs floated around me as the villagers walked toward the tables, muttering things like, well, at the end of the day, Samantha's still the one going to college, and Natalie can always try again next year. My voice was drowned out, ignored. Samantha leaned close and whispered, try anything else, and I won't mind killing you. Let's see how your pathetic parents survive in this village when you're gone. Your letter is fake, I muttered, shaking. You couldn't even get into community college, let alone Harvard. She laughed in my face. So what? Even if I can't replace your score, I'll find someone else to steal from. What if you do get in? Your broke parents can't afford tuition anyway. She patted my shoulder with that same mocking smirk. People like you need to accept your fate. Then she turned and walked away with her nose in the air, bathing in the compliments of the crowd. I stood there, dazed. Had everyone really forgotten what just happened? Was that it? Were people really so quick to turn a blind eye? But just as I reached the gate, several sleek black cars pulled up, dust swirling in the air. Doors opened. About 5 or 6 people stepped out, walking with purpose toward the yard. Mr. Lewis blinked in confusion. You are? The young man in front answered politely. We're professors from Stanford and Harvard. This is our principal. He gestured to a stern-looking middle-aged man in a tailored suit and glasses. Even his silence carried weight. Mr. Lewis practically fell over himself in excitement.
Oh.
Hello. He dragged Samantha forward by the arm, both of them beaming with joy. People at the banquet table started whispering again, eyes wide with admiration.
See?
They said it was fake, but the principal himself came to pick her up. Samantha must have ranked first in the whole country to get this kind of attention from Stanford or Harvard. Samantha, standing off to the side, drank in the praise like it was champagne, her ego practically glowing. But that glow turned to frost in an instant when the man leading the group from the university held up her forged letter and handed it to the principal. We discovered a forged admission letter connected to this address. After following several leads, we ended up here. You're Samantha Lewis, right? Samantha's face drained of color, and she looked at her father in panic. What fake letter?
There's no such thing, Mr.
Lewis replied with forced calm. But the young man had already given the letter to the principal, who examined it closely before quietly tucking it into his briefcase. That's mine, Samantha cried out, lunging forward to snatch it, but the young man blocked her easily. Call the police, the principal ordered his staff. Mr. Lewis rushed forward, panicked. Wait. If you say it's fake, then it's fake? I could say you're the fake principal. I stepped into the courtyard, raising my voice. I already told you all, there was something wrong with that letter. Mister. Lewis growled. You jealous brat. Did you pay these people to ruin our Yenyen's big day? Jealous. I scoffed. Samantha can't even solve a basic linear equation without breaking into a sweat. If she got into Stanford, then your whole family should have fainted from shock by now. I'm 10 times better than she'll ever be. I looked the principal straight in the eye. Honestly, I suspect Samantha replaced my college entrance exam score. Mister. Lewis laughed bitterly. You submitted a blank paper, didn't you? You're the one who probably stole our Yenyen score. Who told you I submitted a blank paper? I filled out the entire thin gin red ink. Samantha's face turned white. Natalie. You tricked me? Then the principal turned toward me, eyes wide with realization. You're Natalie Carter? Yes, I answered, confused. The Natalie Carter who submitted a red ink test? I nodded. He reached out and shook my hand with visible excitement. 732 points. You're the national top scorer. My mind short-circuited.
What?
That high? He asked. But why would you use red ink? Didn't you know those are considered invalid? I did, I said, looking straight at Samantha. Because I didn't want her stealing my score again. The principal nodded solemnly. That was our mistake. We've already expelled the staff involved and launched an internal investigation. He turned to face the crowd. Despite the technicality, we've decided to offer you admission as an exception, Natalie. This country needs people like you. Samantha screamed and launched herself at me, grabbing my arm violently. I'll make you pay for this. Her eyes were wild with rage. Her voice cracked from yelling. The police arrived moments later and arrested the entire Lewis family. Samantha had to be dragged away, still cursing like a lunatic. Some of the villagers, finally understanding what really happened, ran over to fawn all over me. Sister Natalie, we were too harsh earlier. Please don't hold it against us. Right, we didn't know the Lewis family would stoop that low. Congratulations on becoming the first Ivy League student from Willow Creek. I didn't say a word. I just took my mom's hand and walked home with a cold face. When we reached our door, the sound of drunken banging echoed through the wooden frame. Frank Carter, of course. As soon as I opened the door, he reeked of alcohol and fury. You locked me inside like a prisoner, huh? He raised his hand and slapped me across the face. I took the sting in silence. If I hadn't locked you up, you'd have shown up at Samantha's banquet and publicly accused me of sleeping with that idiot again, wouldn't you? He blinked, stunned for a second, maybe even ashamed. I'm your father.
You think you can talk to me like that?
Oh, now you remember you're my father? My mom tried to de-escalate. All right, she got into Stanford and Harvard. You should be proud. Frank's face lit up. Wait, you got in? That's big time. Do you need money? How much to get in? I brushed past him and went inside.
His voice chased me.
Don't act high and mighty just because of some college. You'll always be a poor country girl from Willow Creek. You're nothing without money. I didn't answer. I poured myself some water, only then realizing my forehead was soaked with sweat. I'd done it. Not only did I expose Samantha, I'd secured my spot in the top universities in the nation on my own. All I had to do was get out of Willow Creek, and my whole life would change. Time passed quickly. A week before classes started, my parents took me to town to buy school supplies. Frank, who usually only cared about drinking, was oddly cooperative. I heard from your uncle that there's a guy who repairs shoes real good. Says they last 10 years, he told me casually. You and your mom wait here a sec while I go find the shop. He led us into a cool, quiet alley. Feels good in here, huh? He said, giving me a weird smile. Just wait right here. Your mom and I will be back in a bit. They left. I sat down to wait. The heat outside made the alley feel like a safe haven. But after a long time, my mom still hadn't returned. I stood up, hesitant, just about to walk out when someone grabbed me from behind. A cloth smothered my mouth. A strange chemical scent filled my nose, and then everything went black. A splash of water hit my face. I woke up, soaking wet, wrists and ankles tied tight. Lin Yen stood in front of me, holding a knife. Rise and shine. I looked around, realizing I was in some abandoned warehouse. My father's in prison. I'm disqualified from college. My life is over all because of you, she seethed, yanking my hair with wild eyes. You were so smug back then. Why aren't you saying anything now? Her voice was hoarse and deranged. I stayed still, silently looking for a way to escape. She leaned closer, grinning maniacally. But hey, your dad's not completely useless. Hand him a bit of money and he'll happily deliver his own daughter. Pathetic, isn't it? She gently dragged the edge of the blade across my cheek. My heart was thudding against the edge of the knife, each beat sharp and frantic like it might slice open my throat from the inside. I didn't dare breathe. Samantha Lewis stared at me, eyes flickering with amusement. So you can be scared. She leaned in, her voice almost a whisper. But cutting up your face now would ruin the mood. I snapped and spat in her face. The saliva hit her squarely, but instead of lashing out, she laughed. There she is, the Natalie Carter I know. Then she clapped her hands. Several burly men entered through the warehouse doors, one of them holding a thick metal dog chain. Without hesitation, he fastened it around my neck. Samantha yanked it hard, and my body lunged forward, collapsing at her feet. She stepped on my head like I was nothing. You always acted so proud, didn't you? Miss Stanford Harvard genius. Let me show you how a dog lives. She looked at the men. Do whatever you want with her. Just keep her alive enough to regret it. Then she grabbed a folding chair, sat down with a sick smile, and set her phone on the table to record. The men circled me like wolves. I writhed, the chain biting into my neck, but escape was impossible. As I watched Samantha's delighted expression, something shifted in my head. I could hear her thoughts. Beat her senseless. These guys are so poor, they do anything for 2 boxes of training coupons. Idiots. My eyes widened. Coupons? That explained it. The Lewis family was broke. Samantha didn't pay these men in cash, she tricked them. After they're done, I'll torch the place and slip out through the back door. I knew I had one shot. Hey, I rasped to the closest man. Did you even check the money she promised you? That made them pause. Samantha sneered and kicked the 2 boxes forward. Right here. Do your job and it's all yours. I locked eyes with one of them. Brother, if you're gonna risk your life for this, don't you want to make sure it's real? Samantha rolled her eyes and cracked open a box. The top was filled with crisp red bills. Satisfied, she grinned. But her thoughts betrayed her again. Top layer's real. Bottom's worthless. I yelled. Check the bottom. Samantha jumped out of her chair, panic flickering across her face. What the hell, how is she hearing me? She muttered. Then louder. Ignore her. She's stalling. She just wants to buy time, finish her already. I gave a bitter laugh. Stall for what? No one even knows I'm here. I turned back to the men. At least check. If she's lying, you're risking prison for fake cash. 2 of the men exchanged glances and opened the boxes fully. Samantha tried to block them, but was shoved aside. Seconds later, one of them cursed. Damn it. These are fake. It's all fake. The second man flipped over the other box. She conned us. Samantha started inching toward the back wall. She's running, I shouted. The men turned and grabbed her before she could escape. Not only did she scam you with fake money, I yelled. She was going to burn you alive. I saw the gasoline. She had matches too. She was going to kill you all. One of the men found the matches in her pocket, and Samantha collapsed, her legs giving out completely. No, please don't hurt me, didn't mean. Her begging faded beneath the men's furious shouting and fists. While they were distracted, I slipped through the back door and ran. My feet pounded the pavement. I didn't stop to look back. Not once. I ran like my life depended on it, because it did. Samantha Lewis, you thought you could ruin me, but evil never wins forever. One way or another, retribution always finds you.